The greatest feeling in the world was holding my own gun. I'm hypertensive, but all my decisions been wholesome. My independence had me flipping on siblings I stole from. Said I'm just big and loud. Well, £1/2 is my silent treatment. I punched out plugs I could've stopped from eating.
Stash of the Prada, shy nigga got a gun in the mask in the grass, it's a popper. I was Robin Hood with the stock, don't get shot up. Now I'm watching Robin Hood in my stocks, they just shot up.
That's all it is. You just do the math. You solve one problem.
When you look at somebody like 50, for example, right? 50 knew how to portray different elements, and I'm sure you could attest to this, Shah, elements of different characters in one, right? He had a little DMX in him, he had a little LL in him, he had a little Hove in him, like Nas, pause, you know what I'm saying? He had all these different elements in him, and he presented this bigger than life character. When he would step on stage, when you would hear his records, and then you would hear stories, right? Yo, 50 went over there and robbed somebody. 50 went over there and punched this nigga in the face. So now it's like all this shit makes sense. Like, oh, I'm going to believe him. That nigga's tough.
You know the funny part though?
True.
We hear about all the street stories, but we don't hear about him showing up one time and shaking all the DJs' hands.
Right,
and
right.
doing all the spot runs and kicking it with
And
all
really
these...
working,
Right,
putting that
right.
work in.
All right, so hold on. All right, so now, boom.
Join the
We went on
loop.
track. Yeah, no, not
let's
even
get
join the
to
loop.
where...
So you're at Def Jam,
Yes.
Yeah, let's move
right?
up.
And what proceeds after that?
The Cormega record. He hit on
Cormega
that.
starts happening. I'm on Trackmaster Street Team. So that's a side thing that I'm doing, and that starts going on. Next thing I'm in the studio with Havoc. Havoc's like, yo, I'm me, Havoc. He jumps on the hook. Next thing you know, Prodigy as well. I'm starting to be in the mix. Then Tragedy Gaddafi. You know what I mean? I do like 4 joints on his album.
Right.
On that album, you know what I mean, he got, man, all the homies from his hood, of course, Capone and Noriega, but then he got some new ones coming. Even Ja Rule jumped on one of the records, Bing Monster, that I did.
I remember that.
You know what I mean?
remember that record, yeah.
So then that was a point where people start calling like, yo, who did this track? Blah, blah, blah. So then it starts flowing around. Then Brian Leach hit me. I see him in the studio. We get with Flush. I do Conflict with him and his whole Wasteland crew. So I'm just in the mix in Queens, producing for everyone who's doing their thing.
Right.
And that was the beginning of my rise as a producer.
So how did you transition from actually DJing to production? I know you said you got an SP12 from your man and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But how was that transition?
So the transition was real quick. DJing, I wasn't like, I'm literally in my hood. You see my cousin's Who Kid. 2 blocks down, growing up, it's DJ Clue.
Right.
From 1st to 8th grade is DJ Envy. So I'm surrounded by all these DJs, and then you go Baby J, a whole bunch of DJs. So they all doing mixtapes. I didn't want to do a mixtape. So I'm like, yo, I actually wanted to be a rapper.
Right.
So ain't nobody gonna make beats for
You
me.
got bars?
I had bars.
It took you too long to say that.
Too long.
It took you too long to say that. He don't believe that.
He ain't gonna remember that shit.
Bro.
Nah, he don't believe that. Yeah, boss.
You felt like you was trash?
Nah, my boy, shout out to my boy 6'2", who was on Shoot for Salt and Pepper. I used to look up to him, and he was from my hood, and he made it. Like, he was on Shoot for Salt, and he touring, and he was like, yo, I like your beats, but your raps is not that good, bro.
That's a good friend. That's a good friend.
He was the best homie, bro.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, bro, I was a mumble rapper, man. I was just
Back then?
back then before the South, bro. I was
That's
a mumble
crazy.
rapper, bro.
Oh,
So
shit.
he was
should have
telling
stuck
me,
with
yo,
it. You just blew up.
you know what I'm
was ahead of
saying?
your time.
So I'm a little Haitian dude, so I was just saying whatever, but he was like, yo, your beats though, give me some beats. And then I started producing with him and then everyone. And that's when I focused on making beats. And there was no DJ after that. It was nothing. The only time I got back to DJing is when, Fifth ain't had nobody at the show and I had to do it. That's the only time.
Right.
Other than that, no mixtape, nothing. Did 50 Cent's The Future as a DJ, but after that it was all Who Kid. So really didn't want to be a DJ. That wasn't my thing. That was what got me in and got me passionate about the music.
But DJ, I noticed there's a lot of producers who are major that were DJs before they were producers.
Absolutely.
So that kind of like,
That's a
that
transition.
taught you.
That's a
Yeah.
transition.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some, go all the way. So I just stopped at the production. Then I started being around track masters and seeing how they were doing shit.
Oh, okay. That's
Studio.
That's it, right.
When I seen them poking tone, you know, Kirk Gowdy and them, the LES, like the way they were doing shit on a whole nother higher scale. The mixing, engineers, everything. Being at Hit Factory, that was when
And
I
this
started.
is why you're working the Queen circuit.
This is why I'm working the Queen Circuit, and then, of course, you know, just trying to be in the mix. And I'm seeing them, like, you know, not being able to be in a session, but, like, peeping in and, like, seeing what they doing. It's crazy.
Let you sit in the room.
Let me sit in the room, street team shit.
Right.
But then you can't really sit through this whole session. All right, you gotta go, bro. You know what I mean? But just paying those dues that get me around places, and then being around Jam Master Jay and Randy Allen, Onyx in the session, those kind of things, and you can't really, you learn everything from just sitting around.
Okay. Outside of the Cormega record, which was like your,
Premier record.
what would you consider? Or would you consider that your big break? What's your big break? Production wise.
That was my big break.
Yeah. Okay.
Angel Dust was my big break in the sense where people was like, "Oh, you did this?" Because it sounded like you would think Havoc did it. And I was like, "Nah, it's a new king coming from Queens, bro." I did that. You know what I'm saying? So that was it. And then Tragedy and everything else just started piling up. And then Rockefeller had this Keep It Real Wednesdays. And I somehow got in touch with Clark Kent, and he told me to pull up one Keep It Real Wednesday. And then I got to play beats from all of them in there.
We heard about this, y'all.
Bing.
We heard, yeah.
Bing. You did.
When they used to bring all the producers.
Yeah,
to
you
come.
would go to Baseline.
Bing said
Yeah,
that.
Bing.
Go in the
said
pool
it, yup.
table room. AZ is there, all kind of rappers. Clark Kent, the whole, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I'm playing some beats. And then,
What other producers were there when you were there that first time? At Baseline?
man, DJ Paul from Beat Miners.
Yep.
LES. Just Blaze. This is before Kanye.
Was
Oh,
Bink?
man.
Bink was there. Right?
Bink was there.
Because Bing told us this story.
Yeah. Yep.
Who else was around? That's it. The rest I don't really like. Yeah, that was it. But there wasn't too many heads in there. But Clark Kent was given opportunities. Somehow he was tapped in. I played this one beat. I think hip hop heard it, and he was like, "Yo, let me get that." And that became Beanie Siegel's Tales of a Hustler.
Hustler. Yeah. On the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fire. Fire.
So that really, and then hip hop's like, "Yo, let me manage you." You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
when it really started networking and getting placements in other places outside of Queens and other artists and shit. You know?
Were you always at that time? Was your mindset like, I want to be a part of a label for production in-house, or you just wanted to freelance?
I just wanted to freelance. I wanted to be everywhere and anywhere I could
wanted
be.
to be fluid.
Just flowing. I wanted to get placements everywhere. And I just was trying to I did this, did that, did that. Even if it was no money, small money, whatever, I was just trying to get these placements up so I could say I did that. I did that. So you turn around and they all on albums, and then I'm like, I did that.
So the relationship with hip hop, was that your first time being managed by somebody?
I would say the first time being kind of managed was with JMJ, Randy Allen. He would pick me up, take me around, tell me things, move me around, like, yo, we gonna go here. You know what I mean? And then he was the first one that he wasn't my manager, but gave me that advisory management thing, like him and then one of the guys that worked from Donald Francois. And he would kind of be more of the corporate kind of dude. And they'd be like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But I never had a manager, yo.
Until hip hop.
And hip hop really didn't manage me. He just wanted a commission on that track. Let's talk about that. That part of the game, right?
Were you
They
familiar
know
with?
that check coming in, they want a piece, bro. That's the game, man.
Were you familiar with the business side of production?
I was
Like
familiar-
early on, or did it come later?
Nah, it started coming on a little later. But one of my first lessons, when I sold this track to this rapper from Philly called The Last Emperor.
I remember that dude.
Remember Last Emperor?
Yeah.
And he was signed to Aftermath.
You know everybody. is,
I know
man.
Last Emperor.
Right? He signed an Aftermath. So I'm like, yo, I'm about to get a check that say Aftermath. You know what I'm saying? This is before all of this.
Right.
So I'm in my lawyer's office, and I'm hearing him talk to this other lawyer on the phone. And this other lawyer, who's Last Emperor's lawyer, is chopping my lawyer up so badly. And my lawyer's like, yo, if you just want this money, man, you just need to sign this. Basically just told me, agree to everything and sign it. So I looked at this lawyer like, wow. All right, I'm gonna get this check, $5,000, Aftermath. What's that lawyer name? Theo Sotomayor. Right after that, he became my lawyer. That's it. I seen how he did him and seen how he was representing the art.
Fuck that.
That's when I was like, nah, I'm gonna find that lawyer and make him mine. Because he was doing the right thing. And he was representing the client and fighting for them. And some of these lawyers just like, bro, they work for the system.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? They all work, they
Just
all
get
unite.
the check, you good.
Yeah, just get the check.
The
you good.
system.
The
Describe
system.
that.
The system, industry. So when you do a deal with a label, who pays the lawyer? The label. So that's for him to calm down. Don't be too crazy. Make this happen. That's the system. Why you don't pay the lawyer as the artist? Because you want to have all that money to advance yours. You don't want to worry about nothing. So you just caring about the money. But the system caring about
the big picture.
Just keep it going like this. So we pay the lawyers, we keep them cool. Of course they gonna fight a little, they gonna know how to ask for more, but at the same time, they gonna work with the system.
The bigger picture
Bigger
for
picture
them
for
is,
the industry, for the labels, not for us. Not for us. You see how they look at us, they just want us to rap and do it and, you know what I mean? So they can make the money.
Right.
Wants to tap dance.
Yeah. They're still in that stage, man.
That's why everybody be on their independent shit.
Yeah.
That's just another system.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, it's just you need money to do any of this stuff. And if you don't have it and somebody else is fronting it to you, then you're gonna have to do what's necessary
You have
for
to pay
that.
back that nut. Pause.
Yeah, but we got to get back to something physical or something that you know, where before we be buying CDs, there's no lies. You know someone is buying this.
We were
These
just talking about
We was
that.
talking about that with Paul Wall.
streams, this all the tech guys are making more money than the artists
Right.
off of what we doing. The industry is second to that, and they in cahoots because they pay them out.
Right.
So everyone else making the money, but we put in the work. You know what I mean? So the system is bad. But anyone you see that has a product, or whether it's equipment or Dre with their headphones, they turn into billionaires. We got to get back to selling physical products.
Niggas be doing billion streams and you don't know how much they getting from that. You really not getting
man,
nothing.
It's chopped up the way they want to chop it up.
Crazy.
It's
You know?
funny because we had Paul Wall up here and he was him and Tech
Terminology.
yes, thank you. They came up here with these physical CDs.
And vinyl.
And vinyl, yeah, hell yeah.
And then when we looked it up on Google, it was like 40-something million vinyls have been sold worldwide
Yeah. Back
in
to
like the last
physical.
year.
And you getting that money, that real bread, bro.
Right.
And they getting actual something they can hold, not just having their phone.
Yeah.
And everyone else is making the bread.
Yeah, you can actually see who produced it.
Yeah, that's me reading all
who
the
wrote
credits.
it.
That's
You
how
know what I mean? Like,
who all these execs was back in the days. You know what I mean?
What
It was
studio they
Charles
recorded it at.
Sweet,
yeah.
Charles Suit.
Remember
all these
D&D used to be on
ill
all them
execs.
shits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Or
shit
Chung
used to be
King.
dope.
Or,
Chung King,
Yup.
the
Chung
studios,
King was
the
a-
engineers.
Yeah.
Know who you want to mix your joint. You can't find that right now. You go on Spotify, you hardly see the producer name.
It's all around. Look around you, man. You can find inspiration. You can find discouragement. It all depends on you. Perception is everything. Some people just hear another song. Some people hear the greatest. A nigga used to have no chill. Nowadays I bump side A. Traffic going bumper to bumper, stuck on the highway.